drive anything but average.
Volkswagen, das Auto.
Keeping well hydrated and fueled properly while running, hiking, and hitting the gym can help you perform at your best. Registered dietitian Andrea Holwegner is here with some advice on some things that you need to do that are really good for out there, especially on a day like today. I was just saying, It is so hot. You need to make sure you are drinking enough water or you are hydrated. What are the signs of dehydration, first of all?
Well, the first one is increased perceived exertion, is what we call it in the sport nutrition research. And what it simply means is you just feel like this is a hard workout, or you just feel so much more tired.
Right. So it's not all in your mind.
It's not all in your mind. It's truly something that you're going to notice from a performance perspective, because your aerobic power goes down. Anaerobic, which is that really forceful, high-intensity ability to push power, also goes down when you're dehydrated. You can get more muscle cramping, and just simply it decreases.
That happens to me every time I work out, Andrea. I just blame it on the water all the time. Other than that, though, did you get a headache? What other signs are there that you're not drinking enough water?
Yeah, and a headache could be one. Even just sort of focus and concentration, even a mood shift. And certainly all of us have been dehydrated at some point or another, whether it's related to sport or not, but certainly just affects your overall feeling.
Okay, so what factors influence how much water you should be drinking?
Sure, and it's all different. You know, my husband's a cyclist, and you know, I always say he's like a torrential rainforest when he's doing anything. Just high sweat rates, and we know that men typically sweat a little bit more than females overall. And
I know that from my yoga class. My goodness, some of those guys can drench their mats. It's kind of disgusting.
Yes, there you go. Yes.
Okay, so if you sweat more, then you should be drinking more.
You bet, and certainly the duration of activity and the intensity is going to affect how much you're sweating. So usually we find sweat rates are anywhere between about 0.4 to 1.8 liters per hour. So you can see there's a huge variance in terms of how our body is going to respond to physical activity.
So now I have to ask you the difference between hydrating with water or hydrating with a sports drink. There are certain times you should be using the sports drink and certain times you can be using water, and we have some examples here.
You bet.
Walk us through when I should be, like hydrating with a sports drink, which I'm not quite fond of because I find it's too sweet. I'd rather just stick to the water, but there are instances when this is important.
You bet, and there's, people say, oh, it's just full of sugar and all that junk, but really there's a place for everything. We know if activity is less than 90 minutes in duration, water is all you need. So, and what I brought in some different water bottles, because what I'd like people to do is go home and actually measure out how much is in their water bottle, because here we've got a liter, here we've got about 2.5 cups, and this one's got about 3 cups or 750 mils. So you can see, and these little guys people use for running is about 4 ounces, or only half a cup of fluid in there. And we need about 2 to 4 cups or 500 mils to a liter per hour of intense activity. And so that's, anywhere between these two for an hour of running or intense hiking or mountain biking, that type of thing.
Okay, so that's the key. Now, runners, why are they able just to get away with those little tiny bottles?
It's more of a convenience thing, right?
Because they have more strapped. Okay,
you bet.
Okay,
you bet.
See.
So you got to, probably do some refills if you're doing a long duration.
But if you're doing a marathon where you're running for more than an hour, like
that's
2 hours.
That's where we look at these sport drinks. They're formulated to both have sodium and potassium, the electrolytes you need, as well as the carbohydrate, which your muscles do need for energy. We talk about hitting the wall or bonking in endurance sports, and what that means is your muscle has simply ran out of carbohydrate. And so that's the case where we're looking at some sort of carbohydrate-based replacement, whether that's a sport drink or a gel or a bar. Some sort of carb is really what you're going to need.
That makes sense. Okay, and then coconut water. I'm right in there with all those other coconut water enthusiasts.
Yeah.
So can you drink this? Is this just as good as water? I heard it's the most natural hydrating source of liquid other than water.
You got it, and they call it the natural sport drink.
Yeah.
And coconut water is really great if it's going to be a short duration workout, again, under an hour, or it's something maybe you're going on a hike for a couple of hours, but the duration and the intensity is not so high.
And I found this very interesting because I told you I drank coconut water and I felt more thirsty compared to drinking water. And you said that's a good thing. That's your body's way of saying, keep drinking.
You bet. And because of the sodium in coconut water, which is actually higher than what you find in a traditional sport drink, you are going to feel thirstier. And so it encourages people to keep well hydrated. Just note, though, if we're looking at really intense endurance athletes, if we're talking about triathlon and marathon running, long-distance cycling, the carbohydrate load is about half of what your body needs in coconut water.
So not a good
choice for high-performance sport.
Stick to these babies right here. Okay. Thank you so much, Andrea. Registered dietitian Andrea Holwegner. If you have any more advice, or if you need any advice rather, and you want more information, you can check out our website at healthstandnutrition.com. We're going to toss it over to Jamie for the weather. Like I said, on a day like today, Jamie, so important to remember to keep hydrated out there. We don't want anybody fainting on us.
You're absolutely right.